As a police search dog rushed to a piece of luggage and barked, the officers knew there was something interesting inside, so they got to work. And what the officers found when the suitcase was finally opened left the airport staff amazed. So stay tuned until the end of this story to find out what was inside the suitcase. The airport is the only international airport in Lebanon, and as such, it receives an incredible number of travelers from all over the world. You can imagine countless people passing through the terminals while ridiculous amounts of luggage, cargo, and packages are transported to all imaginable countries. As you can probably imagine, airport security is of the utmost importance. The police patrol the building, and private security personnel keep an eye on comings and goings. However, there is a group of relatively unknown heroes working with the airport police, search dogs. These dogs have been highly trained to sniff out suspicious packages or luggage that may contain any kind of prohibited substances or even money. They have been trained on how to properly identify a suspicious bag and what to do when they make a discovery. Their police handlers know the signs, and when a search dog points its nose directly at a piece of luggage or a person, they know it needs to be checked, a simple yet proven and effective system. As he strolled through the airport, nobody paid much attention to the dog. Although he was cute, people knew he had an important job. They couldn't just pet him, as it would disrupt his important work. People gave the dog handlers a passing smile as they walked by, but suddenly the dog indicated that he had detected something in one of the already processed boxes that were being transported through the airport from one destination to another. A glance at the shipping label revealed to the police officer that the package had been transported from Ukraine to Beirut. Apparently it had arrived a few days earlier and was now at the airport. The search dog sat motionless, staring at the suitcase. The police officer had no doubt that his animal had discovered something highly unusual. It was very rare for a search dog to mistakenly identify something, and he had never experienced his dog marking a person or a piece of luggage as suspicious without reason. The police officer signaled for the dog to approach, and it jumped onto the box. The box itself was quite large. It looked very similar to the other boxes passing through the airport, so there were no visual peculiarities. The only difference the police officer could see was that there were several small, almost unnoticed holes along the box. The dog immediately noticed them and placed its nose directly above one of the holes, sniffing and letting out a small sigh. This reaction was definitely unusual because the search dog had been doing its job for many years and had never reacted like this before. It was clear that there was something inside that interested him more than just the usual contraband. The handler furrowed his brow as he examined the box from top to bottom, contemplating what to do next. Other police officers and airport staff joined in, carefully lifting the box from the ground and placing it on a table for examination. The officers were well aware that it could be an explosive. The team treated the box very slowly, and once they set it down, they called the bomb disposal unit. They scanned and inspected the package before doing anything else. The likelihood of the box containing explosives was very low, as it would undoubtedly have been detected during check-in and scanning at the Ukrainian airport. But they didn't take any chances, and everyone left the room, although the search dog was eager to get back in. It seemed strange that the dog was so fixated on the box, but nobody was allowed in the room while the bomb disposal unit was busy. The search dog whimpered and paced around, trying to get back inside. The handler found this behavior quite unusual, as it was not typical of the dog's usual demeanor. This raised all sorts of red flags for the officer. What was it about this box that was so special or peculiar? What was inside? Now they simply had to wait for the bomb disposal unit to search the box and conduct their inspections. When they calmly emerged from the room and alerted the other officers, they were certain that there was nothing dangerous in the box. That was a huge relief, but the questions still remained. What was actually inside the box? They had to decide how to proceed next. It was clear that the box was free from any dangerous explosives or tampered bombs, but that still didn't answer the question of what was actually inside and why the search dog had reacted so excitedly. After some discussion, they decided to open the box slowly and cautiously. As they peered inside, they were absolutely astounded by what they saw. In all the years the officers had been on the job, they had seen plenty of drugs, money, explosives, and contraband of all shapes and sizes. But they had never experienced anything like this before. Inside the box were 3 tiger cubs huddled in sawdust. The tiger cubs were incredibly small and appeared very thin and weak. It was evident that they were suffering and had been trapped in the box for a long time. No wonder the dog had been so eager to reach them. They were frightened and huddled silently, clearly overwhelmed by the light and the presence of new people rummaging around in the dirty box. No one knew how long they had been in the box, but it was evident that it had been a while, as there were feces scattered everywhere, and the sawdust was soaked with urine. There were parasites and worms crawling around the box. It was a miracle that no one had noticed this stinky box, because the smell upon opening was unbearable. Animal welfare was called, and they soon arrived on the scene to take the 3 tiger cubs. They were taken to a shelter where they received the necessary medical care. They were transferred to a sanctuary that could truly cater to their needs and treat them as they deserved. Fortunately, they were kept together and not separated. The police determined that the tiger cubs had been sold by a zoo in Ukraine. They were part of a litter of 12, and while these 3 had survived, no one ever found out what happened to their siblings who were sold to other zoos. The zoo director was arrested, charged, and sentenced to a long prison term. All of this happened because of a police search dog simply doing its job and, in the end, being rewarded with a lot of furry companions. What do you think of this story?